Welcome back to the Antique Clock Shop. In this video we're going to finish getting this 1904 New Haven gingerbread clock back together. As you can see, I got the movement all taken apart, cleaned, and springs are all oiled and ready to go back in. I got to do some work on this section here is where the gold plating come off the clock, and I'll probably have to just polish it up with a little Dremel and a wire wheel. I don't want to get too much into the gold and take any of that off. That stops the brass from corroding. So let's I'll see you when I start assembling this back up. Okay, I've assembled the time side of the movement. I marked my gears. This is your first gear. This will be your second. I got little dots on them so I know where they are. This is your third, and then your fourth is in here. Then you go to your escapement wheel. I like to assemble these and make sure everything's going to work properly as before I put the springs back into the clock. As you can see, everything's spinning correctly. It's a little stiff. I have to make some adjustments on it so it's not so stiff as far as the wheel spinning. Now the next thing I'll do is I'll disassemble this side, and then I'll put the chime side together, and I'll test it out as well. Okay, I took the movement apart on the time side again, and I had to use what they call a broach, and I had to do a little work on that bushing right there to get the clock freed up, and it's working pretty good now. You don't want no resistance on it, but I'm happy with the way that's working. Next is to do the chime side. Okay, I got everything back together on the chime side. Everything seems to be working correctly. Now, move the arbor here and get the clock to go into warning like it should. Okay, and chiming on the half hour. All right. Okay, everything looks good. I'll get the time side back in there, get the springs in it, and we'll go ahead and oil it and then get it on the test stand. Okay, we got the clock all back together. Springs are in it. Now it's time to get it oiled up and get it on the test stand. Then we can get it back into its case. I usually put about, it just depends. Sometimes usually about three drops of oil on each pivot point there, and that's about all it takes. Most mistake people make on these is they over oil them. It doesn't take much oil. When you over oil it, it attracts dust, and the dust gets into the pivots and starts grinding away the plates, and then you have to rebush the thing. And it's almost better to run it with no oil than to have it get dirt and dust in there and start grinding away the brass, and then you end up having problems. Just gonna make sure you get every one of them. Make sure you get the around the pallet here. You got to get it uncovered there. I don't know. I just use 3 drops on each one. It seems to be a good number. It works, and usually don't have any issues. And then I put a little bit on the pallet itself, just a little bit. I don't know if I got that one or not. Okay. This one down here. Okay, now we gotta do the back side. Yeah, as you touch it with the oil on the oiler here, it'll just suck the oil right down in onto the pivot end. Almost done with it. A little bit on the spring arbor here. All right, that's good there. And some people, they grease the springs. I like to use oil. I've already oiled these up, but I'm going to put a little extra oil on it. The problem with the grease is it tends to stick after a while. And you wind the clock up, and then when the spring starts to unwind, you'll hear the noise in the case. It sounds like something's breaking and the spring's letting loose because of the grease is sticking. Everybody's got their own method. I seem to think the oil works a lot better. Okay, got her all done. Now we'll get it on a test stand and test it out before we get it back in the case. Okay, got the movement on the test stand. Been running it for a couple days. Everything seems to be working correctly on it. And I got my clock timer on it, my microset. And the numbers are so close, I'll wait till I get it back in the case and get the dial back on it, and then we'll just take a couple days and see how the time's doing. If we got to adjust the pendulum a little bit, we can do that. It's just yeah, the numbers are really close as far as what the manufacturer is supposed to be on that. All right, well, let's get it back in the case and go to the next step. Okay, we got the movement back into the case. Now what we got to do is we got to set the beat on the clock. You have the pallet right here. It goes against the escapement wheel. You have the suspension spring goes down to the pendulum. And you have what we call the crutch. It goes back up to the pallet. And that'll help determine the beat of the clock. You'll bend this either direction. I'll show you. You're going to take the pendulum and you're going to move it to one side, to the other. You'll hear the tick and the tock. So if those are even, your clock is in beat. But if it's not, you'll have to take a pair of pliers and you'll have to grab onto the crutch. And depending on which way you got to bend that, to put your clock in the beat, and that's all you do to set your clock beat. Now the next step we're going to have to do is get the clock face back onto the clock, get the hands on there, set the chime to go to the top of the hour, and then get your clock hands back on there. And then if the chime's off, you'll use this rod here to put it back into the correct hour. So that's the next step. Okay, got the face back on the clock. Here's where I'm going to show you how to catch the chime up with the time. So we're going to move the hands down to the half hour, and it'll strike. And move the hands back up to the top of the hour. You just hit that rod right here. It's the half hour. Top of the hour. Now I'll let the clock run for a couple days and adjust the time as needed and get it back to the clock owner. Thanks for watching.